What's going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, man. So it looked like this Jaxson Dart situation is not over. Now, when this thing first went down about a week and a half ago, I started making videos on it, and I told you guys, I don't think this Jaxson Dart situation is going to be a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. After a couple days, maybe a week, this whole thing's going to go away. This is like a major controversy that will affect the Giants locker room. Now, with that being said, we have one reporter that has found himself in some serious crossfires with his questioning in regards to Jaxson Dart and this entire Trump situation. Now, I think after this week, it should possibly be kind of dimming down, but you never know in this new age era of the internet, because no matter what you do, no matter what you say on this here internet, it is here to stay. And I'm here to tell you this Jaxson Dart situation, like I said, is going to be here to stay, because I feel like what's going to happen is that this entire situation is going to divide the locker room. See, that's what the Giants front office do not want to happen. They don't want their locker room to be divided. They don't want them landing the best free agent coach to be affected by this, and they're projected possibly to be a very good football team. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's looking like that could be the case, because now their own reporters there is in the crossfire of this. Now, there is one Giants reporter, and he has a YouTube channel or whatnot, and we're going to react to some of this stuff, man. So this is currently trending on Twitter today. Now, this was from the press conference that took place the other day. Now, shout out to Dove. It stated, Giants reporter Pat Leonard asked quarterback Jaxson Dart why he did not publicly address his support of Donald Trump. And he said, you understand why introducing that president will be something that some of your teammates would have a problem with. Now, that is what Pat Leonard said to Jaxson Dart. Now, this is what Jaxson Dart had to say to Pat.
Jaxson, respectfully, do you understand why introducing that president would be something that some of your teammates would have a problem with, and why it's viewed as controversial?
Look, I respect the question. I understand the question. My statements all that I have for you guys right now, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
Do you think you made a mistake?
Look, I just gave my statement, so ask that we can all respect and understand that. That's where I'm at right
now. Now,
Jaxson, respectfully,
my point of views on this is that this reporter, Pat, right? Pat is getting put in the blender over this question online, bro. Now, me personally, I feel like Pat basically kind of shouldn't have asked the question, bro. Because if he opened up his presser with addressing the Donald Trump situation, it's almost like a tit for tat type question. Now, somebody said Pat Leonard, when he looks in the bathroom mirror, somebody else said this is all because he's a man. Jaxson Dart got more coverage and outrage for supporting our president over Abdul Carter for assaulting a man for towing his car. Why? Because Jaxson is a white man. That is what they saying, man. And it says, why would he need to address his public support of his president? Do you need all 77 million to address support of President Trump? Now, this is from 2016, which this is completely irrelevant right now, because 2016 has nothing to do with this. President Trump ran again, and his map did not look like this, respectfully, bro. Now, somebody said, why does anyone have to explain their support of President Trump, the United States, to you or anyone? Clown. What is this?
It's my responsibility, based on what I believe and what I stand on,
I don't know who this
to not only show my teammates that I'm against that, but to show the world.
This is another example of this moral framing, virtue signaling, moral superiority complex, where grown adults have to have press conferences to tell you why they wanted to introduce the president of the United States. Are we still acting like, over 70 million people didn't vote for Donald Trump? That he didn't win the popular vote in every single swing state? Are we still going to continue to do this? It's so odd that people act as if they're the majority. In reality, I'm going to tell you this unequivocally, okay? There's a reason why it's called the silent majority. The silent majority is silent. They're not the loudest people in the room.
I think a lot of people support President Trump behind closed doors, and because of how he run his cabinet and how he run his presidency, a lot of people is not really addressing, you feel me, their support of President Trump because of the backlash. You could lose your job, you could be canceled, you could be all different things. But my thing about this whole situation, when it reflecting the NFL, is that I feel like Jaxson Dart or Abdul Carter should not have been crucified for their comments, because their comments had nothing to do with the game of football. You know, whatever Jaxson Dart decided to do is what he decided to do in his own time. Whatever Abdul Carter said online is something Abdul Carter said in his own time. It wasn't like Abdul Carter was at the practice facility and he tweeted out, "Man, why you do that, bro?" He was probably at the crib chilling on the internet, and he synced his quarterback with President Trump. Now, I feel like he maybe should have picked up the phone. "Hey, bro, why you do that?" You know, like, you know what you do gonna reflect us. Maybe a phone call, but to publicly do it, now I don't agree with that aspect of it. But whatever these players decide to do in their own personal time off the clock, like any other job, is something that they could do. You feel me? So, like, for people, like, that's why I can't 100% agree with this journalist right now, because Jaxson Dart opened up the statement, said, "You know, I'm done talking about the situation." You go and ask the question, which it garnered him a lot of clicks, you know what I'm saying, for us on X. Now, I haven't went and looked at the views on his YouTube in regards to that specific interview, because he did upload it. But I feel as if that was a trigger click type question, which, you know what I'm saying, I'm in the click business, so I know. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like in the nature of that situation, that question probably shouldn't have been asked. You feel me? Abdul Carter probably shouldn't have had to explain why he had to, you know, question him. I don't know. People can feel how they want to feel, but just think about this. If something like this happened at your job, right, and you was at work and somebody did some ish outside of work, there's no way in hell you finna let that come back to work and affect your job. That's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, these gentlemen are making millions upon millions of dollars, bruh, talking about this stuff. And I just feel like it shouldn't have been addressed, bro. It really shouldn't at all. Now, look, that's Saquon Barkley with President Trump, LT with President Trump, John Harbaugh and his brother with President Trump, Jaxson Dart with President Trump. I just feel like now the current status of the country, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not happy with President Trump. Gas hella high, food hella high. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But I don't know, man. This is just such a touchy subject. But I feel like for both of these players to be crucified for it is beyond me. That's both sides, Abdul Carter and Jaxson Dart. You know, it's kind of boiled back to the James Winston thing. You know, James Winston was like speaking about unity and stuff. Then he got crucified for his comments. I just feel like this whole council culture is it's just outrageous at times, man. Like, it's almost like you can't say certain stuff. You might hurt this group of people. Then you say something, you might lean left with this group of people. It's just not like the 90s, bro. Like the 90s was like such a good time, bro. But get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this, man. Keep them bills on. Until next time, dog. Shake that.